Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the bonus clip from our Rep Pod recording, where our panel looked back over Leinster v Glasgow. If you missed it, you'll find it on Apple, Spotify, and all the other usual places. So last weekend's matches brought an end to the URC regular season, which leaves us 8 teams filling out 4 quarterfinals. For this week's chat, the task for my panelists is simple. Have a quick look at two matches each, and we'll begin with Keno, who's going to harp on Leinster's side of the draw.
Yeah, we start off with Leinster v Scarlets. The last team to beat us in the URC. Yay. So the head-to-head was Leinster 54-5 back in November, and then Scarlets 35-22 in April, which yeah, that's looking like a mistake now, unfortunately. Um, Form line, Leinster is win-loss, win-win-win the last 5 games. Um, Scarlet's loss, win, loss. They lost 12-3 to Sharks in round 18. In fairness, they gave it a shake going down to South Africa. It's no bad thing at all, given the insane quality of players that Sharks have, and the insane lack of coaching they also seem to have. It's no harm giving it a rattle. But yeah, they get us. But I think they'll come here. Maybe not confident, but like they have nothing to lose. They are absolutely getting into the playoffs as a win for them, and they will come fully loaded and flying out of the gates. So it's going to be a really interesting game. You got Sammy P against Sam Costello. I'm assuming Sam Prendergast is going to keep his starting berth, which is not a sure thing, but we'll see. Van der Veer and Tame Plumtree in the back row. That's going to be tasty enough as well. Ringrose's fitness is going to be huge. Henshaw, no idea. He took a knock to the knee and was off on 22 minutes, something like that. So it remains to be seen whether that's serious or not. I think we'll probably find out tomorrow. In terms of the stats, Leinster score about 33 points per home game, and Scarlets rank 14th in the URC for tries. They have 50 tries over the course of the season. So Scarlet's job is to replicate what they did in April. Start fast, spoil our line out, slow the ruck, but do it against our firsts rather than our seconds. It'll be a tough job, but stranger things have happened.
And then there's Glasgow against the Stormers.
Yeah, Glasgow Stormers then is the other match to look at. That's 4v5. It's going to be an interesting one, this. Reigning champions in Glasgow against 2022 champions Stormers. Glasgow, 3 wins from 5 in their last 5 URC games. Losses against Leinster and Dragons. No idea how that happened. Stormers, again, 3 from 5. They beat Cardiff 34-24 despite being red carded down to 14, which is pretty impressive. Glasgow have Tuipulotu back, and as we can see, he's in pretty fine form, and they're going to be monitoring Fagerson and Fraser Brown, I'd say. Hoping they'll get back within the 2 weeks because they are definitely low in the forwards. Stormers will be without Damien Valenza because he picked up the red card against Cardiff. Glasgow are second for tries in the league, 69 over the course of the league, and first for meters gained. So they do love to run it. But Stormers also, they're top for offloads, 211 offloads in the season, and third for points on 473. So I expect this to actually be pretty impressive game. Glasgow, they like the high tempo, multi-phase, and Stormers, they got a really good scrum and a counter-attack. So Glasgow will be counting and getting those forwards back. If it is wet in Scottstown, which I know we're getting into, late May into June, but there's no guarantee of Scottish weather regardless of the time of year. Just ask the Galwegians about that as well. So the wet weather could play havoc with Stormers' game plan. Scots be a bit more used to it. So it'll be interesting to see that and the travel. Who comes out on top there, and the winner would be likely to face Leinster in the semi if things hold as we expect them to go through.
Yeah, 2 interesting matchups there. Obviously, we'll look at Leinster Scarlets more closely when it comes to the time the week. That'll be our feature match. Glasgow against Stormers. Glasgow could be coming back for the 3rd time this season. But the Stormers are always are always a challenge. So some just a couple of fascinating battles there. Now that just leaves David, who's going to look at the other two quarterfinals.
Yeah, so of the other side of the draw, we have the Sharks are up against Munster, so that'll be down in Durban. I think I have that down on my piece of paper as of the lot, the most likely away win. That's not to say I think it is more likely than not. I just think of all of the possible upsets, I do think that's the most likely. If people cast their mind back 2 seasons when Munster themselves won the competition, it was on a series of away wins. That's the kind of thing that those lads feed on, Mascus that they are. And the Sharks, a top four finish is kind of where we would have expected the Sharks to be all along, and they haven't been. This is a team that is much better um, than they ever seem to actually display when push comes to shove during the season and the chips are down. So in that season where Munster won, it was Leinster who knocked the Sharks out in the quarterfinal. It was 35-5, like it was a smashing. So um, I think the Sharks definitely have enough to win it. It's just a matter of if it comes down to a battle of wills, I don't think there's any doubt that it's Munster who are going to win it. Because that's just more their inclination. And I think on Munster's side of that fight, while the Sharks will want to now take advantage of the fact that they have a home knockout, it's kind of Munster can kind of do what they want at this stage. Their goal at this has not been the best season for Munster, although they did manage to get to a quarter final they managed to finally win a knockout game in Europe again, round of 16. That had been holding them back for like a few seasons now. They got past that. They put up a spirited fight against Bordeaux, who ultimately themselves ended up being finalists and may ultimately end up winning the tournament. So if you're going to lose to somebody, that's not a bad team to lose to. But the regular season hasn't been great for them. 9 wins from 18. They've managed to accrue 15 bonus points, which is what has kept them up the table. But their number one goal, and they had to fight for it against Benetton at the weekend, was to get back into Europe next season, and they've done that now. They've gotten to the knockouts. They've kind of already achieved what they wanted to achieve, sending Peter O'Mahony away with 2 wins, one in Thomond and one in Cork, with the Taoiseach himself on site for that one. So they couldn't have really asked for a better. If that's the end of their season, they've already succeeded, which means they can go down to Durban and kind of throw the kitchen sink at it and just go for it. And if they win, great. If they don't, okay, fair enough. They've got a new coach coming in Macmillan next season. They lost their entry midway through this season. You can chalk that off. But I think having achieved what they set out to achieve, the expectations are low on them, and the expectations on the Sharks are commensurately higher. And I think that'll actually end up tipping it in Munster's direction, just because that's the way that they operate mentally. The other quarterfinal, unfortunately, far less entertaining. I think it's Bulls versus Edinburgh down in Pretoria. This one should be matter of fact. If anything, this should be more matter of fact than Leinster Scarlets, given Scarlet's recent form. They have the advantage of being up on the high veld, and nothing in Edinburgh's season has really indicated that they have the mental strength. Again, a team not dissimilar to the Sharks in some ways, in that you would think if you look at that team sheet with Dylan van der Merwe and Pierre Schumann and other players in there, that they should be a little bit better than they are, but they're just not. They're not a knockout team. I don't think they are. Like, certainly if they get past this, I don't think they'll get much further. But I can't see, um, them getting past the Bulls. It's 14 wins for the Bulls in the regular season. Edinburgh, on 8 wins, and much as I would like to see them put up more of a fight, and upsets are always possible, given the environment and given the form of both teams, I just can't see that going anyway but one. So for me, I think it'll be. I'm gonna say it's a toss up, but I'll tip my vibe hat towards Munster in the first, and I'm gonna say it should be a perfunctory win for the Bulls in the other.
Yeah, I think you're right there. The Bulls will be heavily favored to win against Edinburgh. And as for the Sharks, I mean, when you see their lineups, you would say, if you didn't know anything else, you'd say, and they're at home and all that stuff. You think, oh Jesus, they're way ahead on this one. But there are several different ways. If you've seen the form, if you know what Munster have done in the past, and there's every reason for Munster to let's put it this way, to go to travel to South Africa with the logistics ready to be there for a second week. I'll put it that way, because I can definitely, the winners of these two matches will meet in the semi-final, I think, and you know, a Bulls Sharks semi-final would be great, but a Bulls Munster one, I mean, there's nothing to fear that either. So this is definitely, like you say, if you're trying to pick an away win in any of these four, I think that could definitely be the one. But listen, as ever, if you have anything to say about whatever we're hopping on, or indeed if you'd like to feature something else on future pods, do let us know by the way of comments. And while you're at it, sure, there's no harm in doing a bit about liking, sharing, and subscribing too. So thanks for tuning into our latest video. Keep an eye out for our next 80+ column on our Substack account this Wednesday, and we'll leave it there. Thanks very much.